Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth from Sacred Earth and Storm School, and thank you for joining me. I'd love to chat to you about this month of October as we're ending or getting closer to the end of this amazing year of 2025, and what are the opportunities of October. So, as you may be aware, there's this really huge wave of heart energy coming in, very high frequency energy that is helping us to open our hearts. And this is quite tricky because as we looking to open our hearts, the density that is still in our bodies, in our heart chakras, um, will show up more particularly. So it's bringing up a lot of internal, maybe shadow work that we think that we've all done and we beyond this now, but actually this is a much deeper level. And this energy of going, opening our hearts more is really at the bottom and core of all of it about self-love, where we think that we are unforgivable, unlovable, all the judgment that we still hold about ourselves. And a big pattern that is emerging also that I've noticed in myself is the pattern of perfectionism. So that is, in order to be perfect, we have to be in judgment. It has to be in a certain way, and we build a whole kind of construct about that. And perfection is actually illusion, as we know. There is nothing like perfection. It's just what we've been taught or what we think is acceptable. It can vary so much from individual to individual. So what is perfection anyway? It's an illusion. And yet we've been so entrained to be perfect, to do the perfect thing, to live the perfect life, blah, blah, blah. And what this does is it actually stops us from being ourselves, because we cannot be authentic if we living according to a certain formula that we think is better. And saying that it's better or worse is actually a judgment. So it would be very interesting, and I invite you to perhaps ponder for a moment or two, what is your perfection program? Yeah, and how is that showing up in your life? And is it really serving you? And this will come from a time when you were perhaps a little child, or, just going to school and observing all this chaos around you and just going, well, I better be perfect, otherwise, I'll be in trouble, or I must live up to these expectations, or follow these rules, or whatever. Or it could be something in the family, or however it showed up. But these things are really being challenged in our reality. And, at the bottom of all of it is really just a need and a desire, which is very human and very natural, and that is for us to be safe. That's really the most basic need of us as a human with a human body, is that we want to be safe. And so the bigger program around this is really control. We're looking to control our lives, to be in control, as it were. And in order to be in control, we have all these kind of mechanisms that we've put in place. And yet, we've realized through experience that actually we cannot be in control. We can keep on trying, but actually life is not controllable. And so that brings a huge dilemma for us, and also for our primal brain, because our primal brain goes, but I need to be safe, and the only safe way I can be safe is to control. And it realizes that it's impossible to do that. So it brings up a huge amount of stress. And with the stress also comes a huge amount of pain, because nobody wants to feel unsafe. And so we're in this dilemma of, having high anxiety, feeling that, knowing that we can't control and not really knowing how to deal with it. So one of the big things would be to go into escaping, and that would be oxytocin. So we would all have our drug of preference. It could be sugar, it could be something that's perhaps a so-called good thing like exercise. It could be addictive thought patterns. It could be alcohol. It could be smoking. It could be drugs. All these things are really just um, it's pleasure to take us away from this anxiety and this pain that we have deep within ourselves around not feeling safe and living this treadmill or treadwheel of trying to control and realizing that we can't, but keep on trying. So what other possibilities are there for us? And the perfection is also part of this control. It's like, if I'm perfect, if life is perfect, if I do this perfectly, blah, 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 I'll be safe. Everything will be okay. I'll be in control. And and as we know, this is really not working for us, individually and also as a humanity. So the ironic opposite of this is actually for us to open our hearts, because the heart is the most aware. The brain isn't, as we know. The brain tries its best, but it's based on factual based experience from the past. And that is very, very limited, immensely limited. Whereas the heart is open to all possibilities, anything, infinite possibilities, and therefore the heart can sense into the future, into a much bigger field of intelligence. And by listening to our heart, which is really our true intuition, so a lot of people say, oh, blah, blah, what does it mean to be in my heart? Well, actually, it's a very practical, simple thing. It really is that you just listen to your intuition. And how do you listen to your intuition? You actually listen to your body. The body is the most connected. The body is communicating with us all the time, but we actually have never been taught to listen. We disregard it because sometimes it's really uncomfortable. The body tells us, oh, I'm not feeling so great, or this is not true for me. And the brain goes, no, 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 let's just override all of that. So we're starting slowly but surely to realize that this is actually, it seems so contradictory to the brain, but actually the true and safest way is to actually listen to our heart and open our heart so that we can receive more intuition, more awareness, more connection with the bigger picture. And also it has this capacity to go interdimensionally into the future, so many other realms that is immensely valuable for us to actually engage with. So I would encourage you to really look at this time. What is coming up for you? Very much this thing of opening our heart, but also opening our heart to ourselves. The self-love thing. And where are you still judging yourself? And during this time, there's a lot in the unconscious and subconscious that's being brought up. And so we will, become aware in a very direct way as to our dark side, so-called dark side. Those parts of ourselves that have not yet been brought into balance still requires some healing and needs to harmonize. And we perhaps need to accept and forgive, because ultimately everything is not right or wrong. It's just where we're at. It's been an experience, but we can move on from it. It's holding us back. We're stuck there. And really the big awareness is that, in order for those aspects of ourselves that are, I almost want to call them lower aspects, lower frequency really, because once again, it's not bad and wrong. It's just a lower frequency, a denser frequency, where we're not as connected to information, to universal energy, etc. We're still stuck, a little bit like being stuck in the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. Those aspects of ourselves. The only way to really help those aspects of ourselves to heal and to evolve and to move forward is through love, is to love that aspect of ourselves unconditionally and to encourage them and to help them. It's a bit like, say, an animal that's been injured. We don't scream and shout at the animal to get better or to tell them how wrong they are for not being well. We love them. We take care of them. We have unconditional love. And this is very much the planetary aspect at the moment of Saturn being in Pisces. It's gone back into Pisces just for a while until next year. For us to really kind of go back into this thing of Pisces is about unconditional love. And it's also about addiction. So this thing about addiction is very important, to look at the addictive patterns where we still hide from that pain, from that maybe aspects of ourselves that we don't really like. It becomes a downward spiral. So to really, have that compassion for self, and to engage with, maybe something triggers you and you feel really bad about it because it brings up this dark side or this aspect of yourself that you really don't like, or there's certain things that you're aware of that you maybe even remember from the so-called past that you still feel not so great about. To just maybe sit for a few moments. It's so quick now and it's so easy, and just open your heart to yourself or that aspect of yourself. You can even visualize them as separate from you. It's an aspect of you, but it's on a different timeline. And just speak to them in your mind. Just tell them that you love them and that they did the best they could, and that you would love for them to move forward, and that you love them unconditionally, and it's okay, and that it will change. When they're ready, it will change. So really, really important to, the earth is saying so strongly at this time for us to love ourselves, because if we are unable to love ourselves, we cannot open our heart, and we cannot receive, and we once again can't receive these higher frequencies that are coming in, and also we cannot receive all the information and the intuitions that are available to us because we've closed our hearts, we've closed down. So really, really important. And obviously with part of this time is the 3-eye atlas that's very strongly in our heavens. That's, for me, in a way, if anything, a symbolic sign of we're living in amazing different times. And it's saying, wake up. So much more is possible. And I think at the end of October, it will be the closest to our sun. And then towards the end of the year, this year, it will be the closest to the earth. So there are huge, huge influences coming in that are encouraging us. But at the same time, high frequencies will always bring up the low frequencies to clear, because they can't exist in the same kind of space, as it were. So to take heart and to say, it's okay if I'm revisiting certain things that maybe are not that easy for me. Maybe I feel depressed. Feeling depressed for me is very much about the pain that we're just not acknowledging, that we've been suppressing, that we've been pushing down, the rage, the anger, the feeling of being a victim, of having no power, disempowered, believing that nothing can ever change and that we're just stuck. And this is all really ultimately to do with this thing that we feel powerless because we're out of control. We realize we cannot control life. But we're not meant to control life. We're here to experience life, and to know that we are able to deal with anything, and that we can direct energy, and that we are far more than what we realize or have ever been told. And we're busy waking up to it, that we can have these conscious tools to direct our life and to create instead of to control it, because control is the old way. It's coming from fear. And fear is, as we know, a 3D simulation illusion that our bodies still hold on many levels but are busy releasing. So on the 28th of this month, there's a really beautiful alignment that I've written about, but it's really worth talking about. And this is quite a rare alignment, because it's also, where the sun is, the sun would have gone into Scorpio, and all the other big planetary alignments beyond just this one, because it all forms like a symphony. But the main aspect of this planetary alignment is where there is a very favorable um, relationship between the planets Saturn, which is the stern father, sometimes, having to tell us to have boundaries, to have discipline, to be responsible. Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, that's at the moment in Cancer for about a year until next year, which is also abundance, which is higher learning, good luck, as it were. And then there's also Mars, which has been, which is always, and I love Mars, but it is a tricky planet. It can generate a lot of maybe anger. It's also traditionally in the low frequency, it can be conflict and violence and disharmony, etc. But Mars can also be inspiration. And Mars is very much about the individual and taking action. So that can also be very positive, obviously. Nothing is ever just one thing. But on the 28th, the time of the 28th, there's a beautiful alignment between all three planets, which are, as you've just heard, are actually they are all very different in nature. And they don't always get on at all. But on this day, they are in harmony. And I see this as a very strong opportunity for us to create harmony within ourselves and to hold a space for harmony and peace for our planet. That, all these existing conflicts can somehow move on into something much more generative, and for us to move into an energy of compassion, self-responsibility, and creating more abundance on many levels: emotional, mental, planetary abundance, spiritual abundance, physical abundance for all. So as we're leading up to this date, I would say it would be so beautiful to hold this vision, because at the moment, I think until the 22nd, something like this month, just for a short while still, Neptune, the planet Neptune, is also at the 0 degree of Aries, which is the creator degree, which is absolutely saying we can dream big dreams now. It will then move further retrograde into Pisces. So at this time, there's a particular energetic opportunity for us to really dream new dreams and to bring in big dreams. And the big thing with dreaming, and what is so unique to humans, us being human, and this is different in other realities, and so much talk is now about star beings and extraterrestrials, etc., and other realities on other star systems. But what is unique for our planet, Earth, is that we have the power of imagination, and we really can use this so much more. And we've been taught by this 3D inverted reality of control paradigm that you're being childlike, you're being childish, you're being stupid. It's just the imagination. But as we know, athletes train with their imagination. Imagination is massive. And our creations are limited by the ability that we're able to imagine. So I would say, during this month of October, certainly at the moment, dream big for your life, dream big for you, and enjoy the opportunity of being here, the Earth is saying. This is a really amazing time, and it can be so triggering. It's meant to be triggering because there's just so much waiting for us, and on some level we're still holding on. This is our biggest challenge as humanity, is this fear control thing, that we built this fort and fortress around us, and we think that is how safety is created, and that there's no bigger lie than that. And so if we can just let go and start to trust life, trust ourselves, trust the earth, trust the universe, and just relax and start to enjoy life more, and just make this conscious choice to stay in the flow. Um, Infinitely more is available, and it's coming, but the question is just how soon is it coming, because it's our free will. It's our free will as to how much we let that in, or whether we still stay stuck in the old paradigm. So I would just wish you the most wonderful month of October. We're already into that, a third into that, and just remember, as a last thing, that your energy and your body is really, really valuable, and really pay attention to how you're using that energy. Are you using that energy for you and to create your life? Or are you allowing others or circumstances or devices or connections to drain you? It's just a matter of being conscious. It's not about having to give anything up, but have a conscious intention to look after you, to take care of you. And once again, that is so much part of this theme that's at the moment so pressing, and that the earth is really asking you to pay, to focus on, and to, do something about, and that is self-love. To love yourself enough to look after you, look after your body, look after your spiritual well-being, because it's so easy to get lost in all the trauma and the drama and the pace, because the energy is so fast now. I actually love it, because it's always been, oh, when is it going to actually happen? When are we actually going to move? When are we going to no longer be stuck in this density? But at the same time, it's also really triggering for our bodies. So to take really good care of yourself, take good care of your body. So sending you so much love, and yeah, thank you for listening, Elizabeth.